I'm Lisa Robinson, and thank you for joining us again for Trust the System. We're welcoming back Enya Bartels.
Thank you.
uh, and Enya, you joined us a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
So we were so like enthralled and taken aback by your podcast recording because it was just real.
Thank you.
That's what I will tell you. It was real, and it really just depicted what people of your generation and the millennials and the Gen Zers, like really what they're kind of going through here in London. And not that you're necessarily going through things, but just developing in the lifespan and trying to just make a way for yourself as a young professional in the UK. And what really resonated for me was just your story and your journey, and like how you came to be and how you're becoming this great person. And I think that there's so many people that want to hear more about that. So we created this segment, and we're calling it Coaching Enya.
Oh, wow.
Is that okay?
Yeah, that's great.
Okay. Coaching Enya, because it's not really about just about you. It's people that are like you.
Yeah.
Right? And I think you kind of reflected on that, right? There was people in your community, being of the LGBTQIA community, people who are 28, you were 28,
Yeah.
28 and up, or younger, just trying to figure out, like, where should I be in life and how do I go about this and where do I get the support for it, you know? And so this is what really, I was like, you're a great speaker.
Oh, thanks.
There's so many people that want to hear more. And also, we want to hear how we can help people. I want to hear more about how we can help people that are in your position, right? As young professionals that are like, hey, this is my story and I wish I had this and I wish I had that. And I want to hear from someone that's in my age group, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And how I navigated that. Does it make sense?
Yes, very much, yeah.
So tell me more about what makes sense about that for you.
I feel like a lot of people my age right now, especially in the world right now, it's very difficult to figure out because when you look back at like our mums and dads and that, they had their lives together at 24. I do not feel like my life is as
My
together
mom had
as
me at 25.
Exactly.
Like, how?
My auntie was married by 18. Like, they all had their lives sorted from such a young age, and it felt like you should have that done. And I'm 28 now, and yeah, I'm in a great relationship and stuff, but I still am very confused about where my life's going to go or what I want to do or where I want to be, stuff like that. So I think any help that anyone my age can get is going to be valuable.
Yeah, and
to still grow up, I guess, because we're still growing up.
Yeah. I mean, let's not like downplay all the other great things that you're also doing. Though.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
You're still finding yourself, I feel, but you also are doing. Tell us more about your job again.
So I'm in construction. I'm a flooring manager, and also director for my own company.
Yep. What's the company?
Mine's EB Flooring Limited.
Wow.
Which I started 2 years ago, I think, on my own, but then also working with my dad still. And just navigating through construction work, building work, and especially in right now, the construction world is a bit of a mess with what people want and the demand for it, but then the lack of money in the area. It's just a very confusing business to be in right now.
Yeah, I mean, I can see that. Well, work is like a huge part of everybody's life.
Yeah.
Right. Like, I would say that the clients that I coach or have coached in the past or counseled in the past have always centered their whole sense of being and like sense of self around work. Right. Like, it's like what you do all day, every day almost, other than sleeping and eating and hopefully getting some fun in.
Yeah.
You know? But really kind of aligning who they are with what their job is kind of like how people have based their ego and understanding of self. And it really can make or break your self-esteem when you're not feeling directed. But that's not your case. Like you are exploring, but you also have these awesome things that you're doing. You're an entrepreneur, and then you also work for your dad's company since you were like a kid. Like, do you want to just do a repass, a review of what that was?
What about my business and work?
Yeah, like how you started.
I was 15 in the summers of school, I wanted some money, extra cash to go traveling eventually. So I just started working with my dad, and I remembered as well that it was sometimes in London, but we used to go all these different places. We were in Wales, Scotland, and there were actually really good memories with my dad. So that's nice. That's why I always loved working with him. And as I got older, I went through college, and then after college, everyone was like, it's university next. And I never really seen myself in university because there was never anything in school where I really actually wanted to study in. And for me, going to university, if you don't want to do it, then you shouldn't have to. So I just carried on working with my dad. And then I left to travel America, came back, carried on working with my dad, and then left to travel. And it's a nice dynamic I have where I can leave and come back to it. And the work schedule I have with that is good.
Yeah, you're very lucky because
Yeah,
I wouldn't
very
say
lucky.
that most of the
It's not-
people
yeah.
who are in their 20s in the UK kind of have that
To
opportunity.
go back and forward to a job and traveling is very lucky.
I mean, also like overall, like I was just talking to another guest about this. Like in the United States, culturally, like people are like, you got to go to college. That's
Oh, yeah.
said. Like it's from when you were like in elementary school. What are you going to be when you grow up?
Yeah,
And what
exactly.
university are you going to go to? Right. What is that like here?
It's
in
the
UK?
same, like when you're in school, because you have, well, our college is like your high school, I guess, in America. So when it comes to university, everyone would always say, you should go, you should definitely go. And then if you didn't, people would question why. And it is a big thing to go to university in England as much as it is. Maybe not as much as it is as America, because I feel like less people are starting to go if they choose, like they don't want to, nowadays anyway. A lot of my friends didn't when we were growing up, but everyone above us did go. Like my sister, my 2 older sisters, all their school class did.
So you think there's a cultural change
Yeah,
here?
definitely. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but it wasn't meant for everybody, and
No,
a
no,
lot of
no.
people. I don't know what the statistic is.
Oh,
of
I'm not
people
sure either.
going,
Don't ask me.
But I do know, just kind of being in London, that
Yeah.
I'm hearing that a lot from parents and also just teachers and just regular people, saying that the direction for people is kind of like confused. So tell me a little bit more about yourself, like outside of work, because I know you have in the last episode you did talk about wanting to keep exploring what you want to do for the long term, though, because we'll come back to it about career in a minute. But like, what about your experience growing up, especially around your identity, right? And how do you identify?
I'm a strong female lesbian.
Go ahead, girl.
Yeah.
Do what you gotta say.
That's how I identify, basically. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm saying, like, so you talked about how supportive your parents were,
Yeah,
right, before
very.
you came out. But what were the other messages outside of family that you used to get?
Some very mixed, really. Like a lot of 80% of my friends were great, but I did lose a few when I was younger. I was 15. This is like, I don't know how many years, but that was a lot. And it wasn't as open as it is now. In like, if you came out now, I feel like it's depending who you are and what environment you're in. It's a lot easier, I think. Maybe for some people, it would be for me now. But yeah, I lost a few friends. It was weird. They just cut me off. I never understood it because it's the stupidest
And that
thing
was in teenage years?
Yeah, I was
Okay.
15. I was young. It was one of my best friends lost. And
Female?
do you know what? Yeah, just like leave. I'm not bothered. If you don't want to be in my life for something so stupid, then I've not got a problem with that. But it is hurtful as a teenager. Looking back now, I'm a lot stronger of a person now. So it's easier to say like, oh, walk away, I don't care. But back then it was very difficult. It was very nerve-wracking, and as soon as you come out as well, then you're in a situation where you think everyone's going to be talking about you. I'm from a little small town in Liverpool. So, like, even going to school the next day, it's like, oh, everyone's going to know, everyone's going to talk about it. But I feel like everyone in the world thinks everyone else's world revolves around you as well. But it doesn't. Everyone's got their own stuff going on. But you are going to get the people that are small-minded and don't care, and you don't want them in your life anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, during the time, were you saying that, or
No.
was it
No,
feeling a different way?
Yeah, during the time I would never be as strong as I am now and think that way. I thought I was very sad a lot.
Yeah.
It made me feel isolated very much, but as a little girl, it was scary.
So what did you do to like cope during that
I
time?
spoke a lot to my sister about it because she was the first person I told.
Okay.
When I was in
Yeah.
school, I actually wrote her a post-it note and wrote it, and then went to school and ran away.
What did you say?
I wrote, "Oh, by the way, Neve, I'm gay." threw it at her, and then ran out.
Oh.
It was real. And then she asked me if I was serious when she met me in school. I said, "No, I'm just bisexual." And she went, "No, you're not, are you?" I was like, "No, but I thought it would sound better." But my sister helped me a lot through them times. She was really good. She helped me tell a lot of people in my life. She helped me tell my mum and dad, my other sister, everyone. She basically came out for me.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but with my consent, obviously.
Yeah, yeah. And
But it was made the whole experience a lot easier.
yeah, it must have felt a lot more helpful.
Yeah,
when
it was
there
a
was
lot.
a support.
Oh, 100%,
there.
yeah. Because I heard some stories from, like, people that I think there was one other girl that I knew had came out and she had a terrible experience. She went to my school as well. So I was always very scared. So having my sister to help me was very nice.
How did your parents react when
I wasn't actually in the room, but
there?
no.
So you threw a post-it note at them too, or your sister threw a post-it note?
I was at the top of the stairs crying on FaceTime to my sister's friend. And my sister told me she ran downstairs and was like, "I need to tell you something about Enya. She doesn't want to tell you." And my dad looked up at it from his work laptop, and my mum paused Coronation Street, which is like a soap in England.
Yes, a big time.
Yeah. And then they just looked at her and she was like, "Enya's going through it. Like, she's going to find it really difficult, so please support her, but she's gay." And my mum was like, "Okay. Is that it?" And then she was like,
"That's what your mom said." She's like,
"Yeah."
"That's it?"
And then my dad was like, "Okay." And then Neve came back upstairs and we just ran into my bedroom. And then the next day I was driving in the car with my dad and he looked over to me and was like, "You know, you can talk to us about anything." I was like, "Okay, cool, bye." Conversation's over. But yeah, it was a really weird experience, my coming out.
Wow.
And then the same night we rang my older sister because she lived in London.
How many sisters do you have?
2.
Okay. You have a brother?
No, I have a
Okay.
brother-in-law, but no. He was on the other end of the phone with my sister.
Okay.
There was a lot going on that day.
Really? I mean, emotions sounded high, though.
Yeah,
It was
there was
very
a lot going
nerve-wracking.
on.
And, you know, I'm just thinking, like, you come from, I know your dad.
Yeah.
So I haven't met your mom yet, but they just sound so loving.
Yeah,
and
they are.
caring.
They're
And,
very
like,
good people.
I mean, I'm not surprised that was their reaction. Like, I gotta go back to my soap. What happened on Corey? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you know, but, you know, and I'm just thinking that even though you came from a loving circle of people and people to help you through that moment, you still were nervous.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you imagine for other people that didn't have that support?
The reason I was so scared and so nervous is because I heard all the horror stories from people, because this was back in the day where you didn't see like girls kissing girls on TV. And I remember there used to be some YouTubers back in the day, so you'd go on there and listen to the podcasts in secret and stuff, like thinking your world was going to end, and you just heard horror stories. So I'm very lucky and very thankful. And that's why I'm glad the world's changed and it's on TV, that it's more normalized and it's nice.
Yeah, I'm thankful too, because I have to say that you're a pretty awesome person.
Thanks.
Yeah, and so is your family, you know.
Thank you.
And I think this is why I'm like so enthralled with your story, because I just think that other people need to hear how to get there. You know, if they are also struggling with whether it's their identity or just something that is nerve-wracking and or anxiety-provoking, that it could be life-changing. And just hearing from somebody, you know, like you, saying that, you know, find the support and like...
Yeah, you'll always find your people in whatever situation, whether it can't be your family, you're always going to end up finding your people.
Yeah.
And you can find them anywhere. So just like, you've just got to be strong for yourself first, and then you'll find the support. Yeah,
exactly. You know, whether for yourself or for these other people that are out there that are struggling to dealing with like a life-changing identity concerns, what would it have been like if they had therapy, like from Trust? So, you know, our company is Trust Therapeutics, LTD. We just established ourselves here in the UK, and we're offering sessions for £38 a session.
Yeah.
At sliding scale. And We're trying to make it more affordable so that people can have access
Mm-hmm.
to support because not everybody has that home
Yeah.
support, right? And I'm wondering like if there was more access back then,
Yeah.
what would it been like for not necessarily you or could have been you.
Yeah.
I mean, even you don't have to be an extreme acute stress, right?
Yeah.
To go for therapy, but particularly those people that don't have anyone,
Mm-hmm.
that have been through the horror stories. What do you
Yeah.
think that therapy would have been like for
I
them?
think it would have been life changing because a lot of people, like I know people who went through a really tough time and felt like they had no one to talk to. And if you had if therapy was more normalized as it is now back then, because it still wasn't, I don't think back then, I never really heard of anyone going to therapy. So I think if back then it was as accessible as you're trying to make it, which is amazing, a lot of people's stories might have turned out differently. Because I know people who have since like growing up and now are my age who have gone to therapy now because of all the bad stuff back then. Their lives have turned around now, which is still great. So having it back then would have been life changing, I think.
Yeah, and maybe even for you. I mean, I had therapy when I was
Mm-hmm.
younger. I think I started there when I was 18, and it was life changing for
Yeah.
sure. That's the right word
Yeah.
because I was like, whoa, like I can think in a different way,
Mm-hmm.
and I was a badass in school. Like I knew what I was doing academically, but
Mm-hmm.
just personally, like that development and that trying to navigate
Mm-hmm.
at that age, and not really being able to figure it out on my own. It was nice to have somebody
Yeah.
objectively. So, and I think this is kind of like what I'm trying to change the stigma around
Mm-hmm.
here. I feel like I'm going to be doing a therapy revolution in the UK, okay? Because I think we got to change the perspective
Yeah.
on it, right? Because there's, as you said, it's changed, but there's still people that are like,
Yeah, there's still a stigma against it, but I think everyone should be in therapy for anything. Like,
why do you say that?
I don't know. If anyone ever asked me about therapy, I think you don't need something massive to go on in your life. I think to have someone to talk to that's not involved in your life, that you don't know personally, you feel like you can open up to more because they're never going to run back and tell everyone you know. So I think for anything you should be in therapy for. I think it's a nice outlet and helpful.
Yeah, and then there's therapy and then there's coaching, right? Like
Yeah.
I think that when you're also becoming an entrepreneur and you're trying to become a professional in general, that
Yeah.
not everybody can be an entrepreneur. I'm
Yeah.
really honest by that, and not everybody. And some people are just better at professional or vice versa. And I think even mentorship can be almost therapeutic in its
Oh,
own
yeah,
way,
yeah.
because you have somebody that kind of guiding you that's been through it. And
Mhm.
so I I mean, can you reflect on any of your mentors?
My dad's my biggest mentor, really. And because obviously I was working with him, but I also had family life with him. It was always around. He was a great, like watching him build businesses and then helping me build a business. It was nice that he was my dad as well because it was easier to talk to him as well.
Exactly.
And then I've had other mentors as well. Like I remember I can't even remember the teacher's name at school, but I remember Mrs. Walker. She was very helpful, and I didn't really know what I wanted to be. I thought I was going to end up being in something to do with drama because I used to love drama and dance. And then she helped me through all that, but then also she would speak to me about anything. So it was nice to have someone outside of the family home as well to help do that.
Yeah. Good.
And like coach you through what
Yeah.
life's going to be like because no one teaches you that in school. Like
Yeah.
in the classes, no one teaches you what actual life is going to be like. So it's scary. So it's nice to have people around.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, there's, I don't know what, I mean, mentorship, support, like
Yep.
this is what it is, right? I think that why the stigma needs to be crushed is because you have to know that you can't just get up in this world by yourself.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Right. And you have to find a humble place to be able to say to yourself, hey, like I might need some support and direction.
Yeah, and
some other way.
asking for support doesn't make you weak. It makes you smart.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Good point. Thanks for joining again. So, I wanted to talk more about just your career path because I think that that's so interesting and so many people. It's such a brave choice of work too.
Yeah.
you reflected a lot of different, both positive and negatives about
Mhm.
working in construction, especially as a female,
Mhm.
and then LGBTQIA identifying female as well.
Mhm.
And just, I think the audience would love to hear more about that if you can,
Yeah.
reflect.
About being a woman in construction.
Yeah, both the
Yeah.
positives and
I mean, the negatives are the worst ones, but I do like to think about the positives because
yeah, let's
you
talk about that.
like you get people coming up to you that at first maybe it doesn't seem like a positive, but are surprised that a woman's done such a good job,
Mhm.
and they'll see it, and it is really nice to get, and they'll be like, "Oh, I've never seen a woman do this," but not in a sexist way. Sometimes as well, it seems like it might be, but then they're like, "I've just never seen a woman in your field. Like it's so good that you're not like turned away from it because I know what construction's like for women because I've only ever seen like a handful of women on the sites that I've worked on, and I've seen a few painters, a couple of sparkies, and it's nice. As soon as you see a woman on a site, it's nice. It makes you feel better. So every time I'm on a site and I'm seeing a woman just do hard graft, it makes me feel a little bit better.
What makes you feel better about it?
Just makes me feel a little bit safer, and then also you'll get less stares on site because if you're the only woman doing a manual labor job, all the men are gonna look at you. It's a fact. On every site, it's happened. But if there's like a handful of women on the site as well, walking around with their teams, you don't get as much, and it makes it feel a lot better.
It's almost like there's a little sisterhood.
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
Like you're
it's
like
nice.
you're clocking each other like
There was one changing rooms I've been in, and like where you keep all your work stuff and whatever, and it was the site with the most women I've ever worked with. I think it was like
Wow.
15.
Get out.
Yeah, it was
you
so
must have been
sick.
like,
I walked
hey,
in.
sisters.
I walked in and it was really nice. I was like, whoa, less intimidating. Everything. Felt really good. So there is positives as being a woman in construction because it's nice when you like really see it, and then as soon as you walk in a change room, there's 15 women in there. You're like, yes, go us. It
True.
feels sick, but you've also got the negatives as half the place sites that I don't work on because there's no women. The change room's a toilet, or you're walking around getting wolf whistled out, or people commenting that I'm surprised you can do this job because you're a woman, or watching me work like I'm an animal, like in a zoo. I'm not. So it's just difficult.
How do
in
you
that
think
sense.
that impacts you emotionally when you don't know what you're walking into?
Well, when I was younger and joined work,
On
because
the sites.
that's when I first noticed it. I think I was like 16. Me and my dad went to Wales to work, so we were staying there as well. And this was when I was getting better. I'd had a year on the job, so my dad would leave me in the rooms to fit, and he'd go and do another room. So I was on my own working in there. There was like 4 men walked in, and obviously I'm on my hands and knees. It's not very like protected. Like you don't feel protected as a stance. And they all just stood behind me, and I didn't notice it at first. And then I turned around seeing them. I'm a 16-year-old girl on my own. It was horrible. It was stressful and made me very nervous. And then my dad walked in and he snapped at them.
Oh my God, what did your dad do?
He was just
and
like,
this guy is like
he's a tall man.
and like booming, like you don't want to mess with it. Like, you know.
He's a tall man.
He's a very tall
He can be
man.
a scary man when he's being protective over his daughter.
Oh snap, what happened?
He just went, she's not a, can I swear?
Go ahead, it's YouTube.
She's not a fucking animal.
I want you to be yourself.
Get back, get out of the room. If you want to watch her work, you'll have to, like, he went off.
She's not a fucking what?
Animal. Animal in a zoo.
Wow.
That's where I get the reference from, because that's when he said it. It's stuck in my mind. It's like 12 years later. I still remember that.
How did you feel in the moment?
It was scary that he had to protect me. Like now, the comments getting made, if my dad, because he's still my dad, he'd still want to protect me, but he'd never say anything to anyone anymore because he knows I want to be a strong woman on my own and I don't need protecting. So you can tell it annoys him if he wants to protect me, but I'm like, don't do it because I don't want to rise to it. And if I do, I'll do it, because if he keeps protecting me in a workplace, people are going to still look at me like I'm a little woman that needs protecting.
See.
So I've
Very
had
good
to say
strategy.
to him, like, I know you're my dad, but we need to keep it professional and I'll deal with it. And I think he's liked that I now can deal with it. So, and it's not as scary for me anymore. And I only know I can fight back because of what he taught me, which is cool.
Yeah, but you know, Enya, knowing your dad, knowing you, and just what you just said, I can see the utter pride of your father. I don't know you both very long, but
Yeah.
I can see he wants to bring you along. He wants to.
Yeah.
He's protecting you in his own way,
Yeah.
even though you're like, "Hey, Dad, I have boundaries, and I need to be my own woman, so
Yeah.
that everybody knows that they can't step to me," which is great. But I want you to know, like, I can see it as a coach myself, as a coach, and also as a therapist. To see that is so beautiful. To see a parent like so proud of their child, you
It's
know.
very nice.
Yeah, no, it's true. I mean, I'm a stranger saying that I can see it, and I think you should be proud of yourself too
Thank
for
you.
coming from that family and your journey. Again, it just gets more and more interesting. um, and I think so many people can learn from that from you.
Hopefully.
So, how do you think your identity overall, not just your gender identity, but like your cultural identity, your Scouser identity, your construction, how do you, well, how do you think it shaped your life choices to pick this career right now?
Right now, to carry on with the career, it seems.
Or was the choice to pick this career out of survival right
Yeah,
now?
maybe, yeah.
Or is it mixed? So, talk
It's
to me
mixed.
about
I
it.
love my job. I do love it.
Definitely, definitely.
Like, I find great satisfaction when I complete a flooring and it looks really good because I like puzzles and it feels good. And it gives me, I like being practical. I could never do a 9 to 5 office job. I'd be terrible at it. My ADHD would not be able to survive. So I love my job and I find it, I would always pick it. However, it's also due to the flexibility I have from it, being able to pick it up, put it down. And also for survival, I live in London. It's, at the end of the day, it's a good wage for me to survive in London.
Believe me, it's expensive here.
So in a way, yeah, I'm doing my job for the money, but I also do it because I love it. So I would pick it, but wouldn't know what else to pick, to be honest, because I am proud to say I'm very good at my job. So
Good.
I enjoy it, and right now I'm happy with it, and I don't know what else I want to do yet.
Yeah. Why do you feel like you have to find something else?
I don't know. Everyone always says, "Will I ever take over my dad's business?" I've always said no.
How come?
Mainly because I don't want to be doing it. I've always said because of I'm a woman and I don't want to have to go to all the site meetings where, and I could be the change that, like, help to change things. However, I don't want to have to always be the person to change things because it's
What happens at the site meetings?
like you'll get ignored. Like I'll get ignored. I'll say an answer to something that's very helpful and it solves everyone's problems that they've been discussing for an hour. They'll swipe over me, and then someone else will say, "Finally get there." Like another hour later, they'll say the exact same thing, and I'm like, "Bro, we could have saved some time here. Just listen to the woman in the room. We're smarter." So there's that, and also I don't want to be working. I know I wouldn't have to always do the physical side of the job forever because I don't want to have back pain when I'm like 50.
This is a very smart thing that I think when I do my coaching and the emerging adults that I used to counsel in therapy, is that I think compartmentally, short, mid, and long term, right? Because you're completely correct. Like when the job that you're in now, like you might be enjoying it. It might be making you those dollars or pounds. I'm sorry, I forgot what country I'm in. It might be giving you this short term satisfaction. However, can you do that like
In the long term, no, I wouldn't
30,
want
40
to.
years from now? Like, you know what I mean? I'm just saying. I know people are not thinking about that
Yeah.
right now, but do you want to be on a beach? Do you want to like be like sipping pina coladas? Like, do you want to be like more relaxed, or do you want to do
Yes.
backbreaking work?
No.
And I think what happens sometimes with people that are just like coming up and are they in their emerging lifespan, that they're not thinking about like how you're thinking. I
Yeah.
think that I get it. There's a here and now, and we're thinking with our frontal lobe, which is.
Yeah.
But seriously, it can happen like a flash.
Yeah.
Not even about age or getting older. It's also like if you got injured, like
Yeah.
you could get injured on your job.
Oh, if I get injured as well, I'm self-employed. I'm done.
Yeah.
Like I can't work. and I don't get paid, and therefore my life's changed completely again.
Exactly. And so, and you know, we're here for people that are going through that kind of transition too, at Trust. But at the same token, I think I have to give you your kudos, your props that you're thinking ahead. Like,
Thank
if
you.
I did get injured, what am I going to do? Like, let me start thinking of a plan B, you know?
Which
What
is what I'm working on. It's confusing.
Yeah, yeah, and you know, there's no shame in that. Like, and so many people are working on themselves. Like, you know, it takes years. But
Yeah.
I think what I really appreciate about what you're saying is that you are starting to think about it, though, right? And there are means and ways and resources. We could be one of them or not, you know, depending on how you feel. But of how to figure out what's the next step.
Yeah.
Right now, making sure you also have the resources. Not It's not just mentorship. It's also having the financial resources, having the guidance, having the pathway to like making those plans. You know, combining that with your mentor. You know, your primary mentor, and talking to other people too to get a different perspective. Like, I think that's what I would say to anyone that's coming up, like, you know, diversify also where your support and help is coming from, so that, and diversify your thinking, because yeah, if you hurt yourself, what are you going to do? And so many people have,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Is that something you ever stop? Like, how are you thinking about it?
Well,
And what's confusing about it?
I don't know, because I change my mind a lot on.
That's your word though.
Yeah.
Too.
I change my mind a lot on what I'd want to do at once, because it's like sometimes there's so many things I want to do. I can't do them all. I think like I wanted to be a firefighter. I really want to open a lesbian bar in London because there's not one.
Awesome.
Which you obviously need the funding for, and I don't. That's like my 5-year plan. I like planning. I like lists, so that's
Perfect.
why I think about it constantly. There's just so many things I'd want to do. I'd want to maybe be a travel blogger, open up a beach bar in Colombia. Like,
Ooh,
there's so many different things. So the confusing part is picking which one I do, or if
see.
I can do them all. But I don't know.
What if I told you that a lot of what you're saying could actually be accomplished? What if I told you that?
I think it's a bit crazy.
You
but
think I would be crazy?
Yeah.
Well, what if I told you that I myself own 4 clinics?
Oh yeah.
Um, I myself also am starting a clothing brand.
Oh really?
I myself also, for myself,
Yeah.
you know, I've modeled.
Okay.
You know, I'm over here. I live in Puerto Rico. I lived in Massachusetts half time. Um, you know, I think that people like to say that it's crazy.
Yeah.
That how do you do all of these things? But it didn't just happen in like a year
Yeah.
or 2 years. Like, it happened over the course of like 10 years.
Yeah.
What would you say if it was possible to be able to do a lot of what you're saying,
I do it
but
all
but
of it.
in an organized way over a course of some years? How would you feel?
I'd say yes. I'm not afraid of hard work, so I'd say yes. I'd love them all to be possible. I'm just scared about taking the steps to do it and not having the funding to do it, or like I'll back myself, I'll work hard and I'll get things done, but it's just a bit scary.
Yeah. So one thing I hear from you, and it's not that we're gonna have to go deeper, but you know, we're talking about the word that you use is the confusion word.
Yeah.
I wasn't gonna call it that. Because I think that you're actually way more on top of it than you're giving yourself grace for. I think what I would say is that people get stuck, right?
Yeah.
And that's okay. Like, that's part of it. So one thing that I did, and you talked about having ADHD. I
Yeah.
have a disability. I have macular degeneration, the juvenile form of it. And literally, when I was a kid, I was just talking to another guest about it, that people told me that I couldn't do anything. Like, they said I was going to lose my vision by 14, by 12, 14, that I was going to be blind. I wasn't going to be able to do this. I wasn't going to be able to drive. No, but for real, like, most of the people that I knew that was rare, this condition's rare, were blind by the time they were 18. And I met 2 people with Stargardt's disease, that's the specific name, that were completely blind. But my eyes, by the grace of God and humanity, like it just regenerated, and I was able to see, and I have had stable vision
Oh wow.
for years. Yes, for decades now. And whenever I hear people saying like you can't, you
Yeah,
or that's a lot. Oh my God, that's the worst part. I hate that. I was still getting that. I mean, I'm into my third or fourth clinic now I'm building with my team,
Mm-hmm.
my awesome team, Trust Therapeutic staff, and operations department. And we've been open for 7 years. And at the very beginning, when I started the company, people were like, basically, you're not smart enough to do that. How? No,
Yeah.
like, that's what I hated. Like, how? Like, what do you mean, how?
Yeah.
I used to say, Enya, I was like, because I'm a smart bitch. Like, look at that thing. I'm fucking smart. Like, maybe we're going to edit that one out. Because I'm freaking smart. That's why. You know? And it's not just smarts, it's also
Yeah.
being bold.
Yeah. It's having the guts to do it.
Yeah. And I think you just kind of alluded to that gene inside of you. You're also bold. You have to be bold to be a woman on a construction site. And then also being a woman on the construction site, also with your dad,
Yeah.
even though he's protective though, it's still like, your dad and he's still like, are you going to do something wrong or you do something right? Like, in the beginning,
Yeah.
like, you never knew maybe didn't know how that was going to go, but it worked out. And I'm saying that you already have the gene of being bold.
Mm-hmm.
You already have the gene and the guts to, and I like to say the ovaries, the big ovaries.
Yeah, I like saying that all the time as well.
I say that instead of, the other word. And I'm saying that determination, organization, and planning are, and then also the mentorship, right? That's part of it. But for you individually, the organization, the determination, and the confidence, this is what really can make all of what you're asking for and wanting like possible.
Yeah.
It comes down to organization and planning.
I'm really good at them.
Yeah, talking to me about that because I just had another guest. We were talking about ADHD, and the number one thing for people that we counsel or coach through ADHD, through trust, is that we have to build the confidence again, because life seems like this, and you want to do this and then you want to do that. Not necessarily that everybody's like that, because there's all different there's different forms of ADHD.
Yeah. Mine's
right?
Hyperactive,
right? And I'm saying that when it gets into your head, messages that I can't even do this because I'm all over the place because I'm in hyper state, it may seem like life is confusing. And it might look confusing and it might be confusing, but it's going to feel even worse when you're emotionally not feeling right. So talk to me about that.
About my ADHD.
Yeah, no, about that and what I'm saying, like, is it the confidence that...
I think I've got the confidence I'm learning a lot more about it now, because I never really knew properly about it. I'm reading more on it, researching more on it. My girlfriend teaches me a lot about it because she also has ADHD, but a different type. So we speak about it a lot more. So I'm learning a lot about how it can be a bit of a superpower to me, not just negatives, which is cool. And how to deal with it. But I think about a lot of stuff, so I like writing things down. I overplan. I like making lists because I don't like sitting still. So I've got a lot of lists on my phone just about like what I want to do, or even all the TV shows I've watched, everything. And I've done that forever, but never knew what it was. And then apparently, it can be linked to my ADHD, so it's cool learning all about it now. And I think I've got the confidence having it now. There's still a bit of a stigma against it, isn't it? People just say you're hyper, you've not got ADHD, that's just whatever. And it's not a real thing, but it very much is, so.
Yeah, and I would say that, because I have a disability as well, as I said, that you learn how to adapt with the disability over the course of the lifespan, right? So it's awesome that you have your girlfriend and she's supporting you. And I love that you called it a superpower, because that's why I ended up having to teach myself with my visual disability, because at one point, at several points in my life, especially in my 20s, I thought my vision was gonna go.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, it's a very scary time hearing that from the doctor. And then some way, like I got it back again when I was like, I just kept pushing and my eyes stabilized. But you see, hearing that still, um, those positive messages
Mm-hmm.
can really help you believe in your dream,
Yeah.
you know? And I think that for you, how do you apply that to your dreams still? And, you know, I think that things are possible.
Yeah.
It's just about the planning and the timing, and
Yeah.
also understanding that you might have to ask for help too with some of your dreams. So, like for example, the resources,
Yeah.
the money. Like, I think your dream of opening a LGBTQIA or lesbian bar specifically, right? It's like all possible.
Yeah.
I believe in you. Like, you know what I mean?
Thank you.
I believe that you can.
I think it would be really cool.
Yeah,
So.
and I think that you could open. You can have your dream in Colombia, you know. And I think that once you align what you want with how you feel in the moment, that it can be possible. It just might not happen in 1 year.
Yeah, which I think it would be too much in 1 year anyway.
Yeah. And how do you hear that? How do you think? How do you feel?
I think, well, I mean, that would be great if I could do it all. In my brain, I can do it all. It's just this getting over the scary bit and applying, like what you say, like asking for help is the main thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'd love to do it. I hope I will do all them things.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's not a matter of hope. It's when and I will.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
Just keep saying I will, and then it will happen.
Yeah, because like, how did you get your LTD started? Like, how did you do it? Like, what was the process of that?
Me and my dad just started talking about businesses, and then I said maybe I should open one up. And then, even though I still work through my dad's company a lot, I obviously run my own. I had to get my own accountant, all these like things to open a business, which I had no clue how to do any of it. I'd just show up at work and fit a floor. Wow. So it was cool to like learn of what I would need to do it, and then I just did it.
Yeah, I mean, do you see what I'm saying? Like you can do I know that it feels like a little bit disconnected from what you want and what you have done, but like there's no way that somebody who has started a business, even with their support of their dad, it doesn't matter. Like, you know, there's no way, and then you're sustaining it and you're growing it, like, and then you're living in London and you're living off of this, like, Enya, like, really, like, you don't see that you can have these other things, like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm just saying. I'm trying to show a mirror here. Like, you're, like, on the way of, like, this.
Thank
you.
you.
It's going to keep growing. This greatness is going to keep growing.
Thank you very much.
Oh, it's not just for me to say, but it's for you.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
I should say it to myself more.
Yeah, like, what would you say to yourself, you think?
I don't know, just like, maybe, I think I do have I have confidence.
You do.
But
you know
I lack confidence in believing in myself sometimes. I'm a confident person, but I lack it in maybe my work area. So I'd like to build on it.
So you need to build the skills still.
Yeah,
that's
maybe. Yeah.
Okay. But how does that...
Because I don't know how to open a bar.
Yes,
I know how it works.
Look,
I have no idea.
I don't know I'm gonna open a clothing brand. Like, not a clothing brand, just my brand. Okay, like, I'm like, what? But you learn how to navigate, just like how you learned how to navigate with the flooring and learning I forgot the widgets thing that you were talking about. I don't know. And, you know, it took years. How many years did it learn for you to really understand how to do the flooring?
I started at 15, probably when I was 18, I started doing proper work, because at 15, I was a labourer, so I'd help my dad clean up, I'd glue out. But to confidently fit a floor on my own, probably 17, 18.
It took you until 17, 18?
Yeah.
So how many years?
3, 2.
Okay. So this is the time period we're measuring at.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And because you have the determination, because you have the confidence, and because you have the organization, right?
Yeah.
What were those skills that you used to learn how to do the floor?
I like to just keep trying at things if I do it wrong. Because with flooring as well, you can do it wrong and you can also be able to rectify it again if you're good enough. So, I mean, that was a bit cocky, but whatever.
It's all right. That's just confidence, not cocky.
um, but yeah, if I failed at it, I'd just rip it up and fix it. I wouldn't be
kept
too.
doing it.
Yeah, it wouldn't be bad enough where the whole floor is destroyed because I wouldn't let it get to that point. If there's one thing wrong, I'll go ask someone for some advice. Because I was a year into it, I'd go ask for advice, and then they'd say, do it this differently, find this different skill, and then fix it, and then it wouldn't happen again. You just don't let things get too bad before you can't fix it. Fix it on the way, if that made sense.
Mm-hmm. Do you remember when you got it right? What you felt?
Yeah, it was sick.
You were sick?
It was cool. No, it was that
Scouse.
Oh,
okay. Oh, like it was. Like,
it was.
awesome.
It was cool. Yeah.
Okay. sorry. Okay, I got you.
Scouse translation. Yeah. I'm sorry.
Wow, you must have been like bursting.
Yeah, it was really cool.
You must have been bursting. Yeah, I think I remember when I got my first patient, or my first clinical hire, my first employee, and now we have over 35 employees now, and we're growing. But that first employee was like, "Oh my God, I can't believe somebody actually believed in me, and they believed in this, and they believed in the pathway. Can't believe it, you know." And it was just like, it made you feel like you could do anything.
Yeah, it's really
right?
cool.
Like that's what I'm saying.
Because then there's all the different areas in the flooring business. So that was like one of the easiest. I think it was like carpet tiles or something, which is an easy flooring to fit for me to fit now. But when I finished my first wood flooring, and it was actually not my first one, but I fitted my own flooring in my bedroom in my home, my Liverpool home. And my mum and dad had gone away on holiday, so I had the house to myself, and I just decided to rip my floor up and then fit it.
You're like, oh damn! If I come back and they mess up, your mom would have been crazy.
And then I seen it, and I remember I got really frustrated at a bit of it. And I had a plate in my hand because I just had a butty, and I threw it, and it broke on the floor, and I was like, oh my God, I'm getting too stressed. I'm done with this now. And then when I finished it, it felt amazing because it was my first proper floor fully alone. It felt really cool.
Yeah.
Wow, and then my mom got home and she liked it.
Okay, you took a risk.
Yeah.
Like, it's not even your house. You just ripped up the floor.
It wasn't a good floor.
What? Do you see what I'm talking about? The determination and the gut, the ovaries. And you think you can't open a bar. You ripped up your mom's floor. That could have been very bad for you.
Yeah. She was happy.
Okay, thank God. Yeah. But you just quoted what I had talked about, the confidence, the organization, right? And then the mentorship.
Yeah.
You talked about that, about moving forward with your dream, and you practiced, and it took 3 years. So if you took that mindset and you applied it, like, it's not all going to be the same, but you applied it to the bar, you know what I mean? What are the things that you need? What are the things that you need to get the bar done? If you could do this, how do you get there?
I just figure out along the way, I guess.
Well, no, not just that, but you would do the same things.
Yeah.
You would try again. You would practice, right? And you would try again.
Yeah.
Right? You would go get the mentorship, right? So you're not going to go outright and buy a bar.
No, because that's that would be insane.
Exactly, but you might do something like you go and work at a bar for a little bit, you know, just to learn the ins and outs of it, because that's a different experience than owning one.
Yeah.
Right? Or both.
Yeah.
You know, if you're an owner, you have to work in it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? This is for any entrepreneur.
Yeah.
And then you organize the plan, you know, once you get the information, and once you understand what is going to be entailed for it, and you set it out, and then you can make a determination if this is a dream that's attainable or not, or how do I set it up for over a course of a year. So that's what I did with Trust.
Yeah.
Like, the first thing I did was like, I don't have an MBA, but I'm an avid reader. I'm very smart, and I'm very inquisitive, and I'm determined. How am I going to get this? How am I getting the information? And so I went and took workshops about business. I got a mentor. I learned, I read, and back then there was no GPT because it only just came out now. And, you know, it was like days and nights. And I'm talking about waking up at 4 a.m. in the morning with going to see clients at school, because I worked in the school, driving at night, going to my practice downtown Boston, going to my practice back at my house on the weekend. Like, I was working like 6 days a week. But because I was so determined for the,
If it's something you want to do, you'll do it.
you'll do it,
Yeah.
right? Like it takes the time, it takes the energy and the dedication. What do you think for people who don't have that are in your generation though? What would you say to them?
That don't have the
They
determination.
don't have the determination or the organizational skills.
If you don't have the organizational skills, I'd suggest going to speak to someone to help you out with that. Finding someone who does have that. There's definitely some times in my life when one of my friends, she's not good at organizing, amazing person, but she's come to me and asked her to plan, like, even like the smallest things, like a holiday, plan it for her day to day. Like if you ask someone for help in something, then you'll learn from them. So I'd just say go find someone that you know can do it, and then say, make me be able to do it.
So like even the mentorship and the coaching,
Which
right?
would be very helpful for someone who doesn't have the determination.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And I also think that if you are really struggling with organization, and it's not to go back into the ADHD thing, but it could also be something else that's happening.
Oh yeah, go
right?
find out.
Yeah, go find out. Like, and how do people do that? Like, they go to the doctor
Yeah.
and they get a diagnosis, and then also start to work on the behavioral parts of that and rebuilding your confidence because, especially, there's a lot of adults being diagnosed with ADHD or other cognitive issues now, and it's so emotional. It's so emotional to find out these things later. But I would say that would also be a good pathway to get support. So because you can't give up on yourself, right? You just maybe have a difference.
If you learn more about yourself as well, you'll know what you need to find out. So you should just like have some self-care dates and figure stuff out about yourself, and then go figure out what you need to achieve stuff in life. And then because you know yourself better, you'll be able to do that.
I agree. Well, this was really good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No worries.
Thank you. Welcome back. So, this segment is we're going to talk about your power. Ooh, I love this one. No, for real. Because I think that when people come to coaching, or they come to therapy, whatever it is, or they come to talk to anybody, right? Especially here, since I've been here. So many people talk down about themselves. Like, I don't understand. Is that a common?
Yeah, that's an English thing.
Lord. I thought that it was just my family that were acting like this because, I grew up in Massachusetts and Americans we're very like boastful.
Yeah.
We can be. I mean, we're like Beyonce. So, sachet. So much things around that. But British people, like.
We're very low people.
They're what?
We're very low people in self-esteem.
Oh, low in self-esteem. Yeah, like you're okay. And then I have to say that my ex, he was from Cambridge. So he used to talk. It was driving me nuts because he used to talk down about himself all the time, and it used to be. I was like, no, like this can't be, and I get it. Like I'm part British and I'm part American. It's been a really weird paradox. Like inside, like, high self-esteem, low self-esteem, high self-esteem, like, stop, And I mean, I think what I love about this segment is because my mission here in the UK and to provide more access to support and through therapy and coaching is that I really want people to feel more confidence. Like I'm when I talked about a revolution, I'm talking about us like stop with the self deprecation.
Yep.
Like what would that do for people, you think?
It change a lot. I mean, I talk about myself in sometimes a very negative way.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I can't see that though. Like, you're such a badass.
Well, it's really funny because sometimes I'll be so confident and like love myself, and then in the next minute I'm completely different.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it would change a lot if people had higher self-worth. I think it's lacking. I don't know whether it's a British thing or not. But
I do think it's a British
thing.
Not to hate, but it's just culturally, like,
As a culture, maybe we just seem a lot lower than other people. I don't know.
I think that for British people, I don't know, the British people tuning in right now are like, who's British? I know, I'm American British, okay? So, I'm saying I think that it's like a defense mechanism. I
Yeah.
think it's a way to like, cause so Americans we go big and bold like, and
Yeah.
we're insecure as hell, and we're screaming inside like, oh my god, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But British people are like, no, I'm just gonna get ahead of it and tell everybody that I suck,
And
so
then
that
no one can say it to you.
there you go. Do you see how it works? So
Yeah.
this is. I mean, we're both struggling with the same thing, but we're just approaching it differently.
Yeah.
Because you know, like I met some people. Like I just network. I like to talk, so I just network in the stores and in the neighborhoods everywhere, especially in the south of London. And my friend, she's the one that's gonna help me with my brand,
Mhm.
and we had some people that were buying things, and this beautiful woman, you know what I mean, like came up and my friend convinced her to model for her just a little
Yeah.
bit. Just a little bit of modeling and in the store so she could take some stuff for Instagram and the girl goes, she's like, I don't want to take off my hat because my hair's not done and I'm ugly and I'm like, what? This is so not in America. Like we say it but we don't say it out loud in public.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm like, what are you talking like? So I got angry. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, you're not ugly. Like, if you were ugly, she wouldn't ask you to be on the Instagram for
Yeah,
her.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, let's just be logical about this. You know? And so, that's it's so funny we're talking about it though, because we both know what the trick is. The trick is that if we put out our insecurities out in the world, then nobody can harm us.
Yeah.
Right? If they see that we are lacking in something.
Mhm.
Do you feel like you ever did that?
Yeah, I still do it.
You do? I think I've done it too.
Yeah, I
though.
still do it constantly.
Yeah, I think I do it too. Yeah, it's that paradox. Okay, but you don't do it all the time.
I don't do it all the time, but like, say my skin, like I can go through periods where my skin looks bad, like I've got acne or spots or whatever, and because I'm paranoid, someone's gonna say, "Oh, your skin looks terrible." I'll just say, "It looks bad today. I know I look rough. Like, sorry, I look rough today," and then no one's gonna say it because I've already said it about myself.
But do you feel
But I
like
also think it about myself as well.
yeah, but do you think that it makes you feel more at ease doing
Probably not.
or does it at the end of the day like reaffirm?
I think it doesn't make me
The
feel more at
anxiety.
ease, but maybe in my head I think it will.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then really I'm just talking negatively about myself as well.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I remember when I started to do panels here. That's where I met your dad,
Yeah, yeah.
actually. Were you there?
I was
You
there in the
were
beginning,
there!
but I left.
I remember. And he was like, this is my friend. And I was like, this is not wait, didn't you? And then you came for the other podcast, like,
Yeah,
that's not your
I
friend.
Met, yeah.
Anyway,
I left before you all started speaking.
I know, it's okay. Okay. But when I started, the first thing I said is like, okay, how American I said to the crowd, I did this. I did the British thing. I said, how American can I be? Like how raw to the whole crowd. There must have been what, 60 people in there.
Yeah,
I
there
was
was a
like,
lot of people.
yeah, there was. I was like, okay, because I'm gonna get raw. Just so that I could preempt any of the judgment, because that's what I was getting when I was a kid. My mom would be like, my mom was so British, like etiquette, like
Oh, really?
by 1,000. Yes, very British. My mother is, and she used to make us stand on the wall with a book on our head.
Really?
Yes!
I'm like, that's very British.
This is very British. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Like, even though we're culturally West Indian, it doesn't matter. She adopted so many of the strong British, like, etiquette skills, and bro, that freaking used to screw with my brain because I'm so the opposite.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, I have etiquette and have class, but at the same time, I'm also very Roxbury. I grew up in the hood, and I grew up in the hood here too. So, and I know how to switch it.
Yeah.
But I think that for me growing up, it was like, I have to accept who I am though.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, I can be very raw and I can also be very classy and I can be whatever that means. And when I got to a point of acceptance, I felt more powerful
Yeah.
about who I am. Like, obviously everybody has weak moments of self-doubt,
Yeah.
right? Sounds like you do too.
Mm-hmm.
But the power to be able to reflect back on what makes you powerful,
Mm-hmm.
like for me, it's knowing that I'm like growing the fourth clinic, like right now at this
Yeah,
point.
yeah.
back then, me being able to know that I was determined and that I could, I was wiping butts at 14. I'm sorry. I know I'm so bad. I was helping out.
You're good, don't
I
worry.
was a CNA, under the table at 14. And I was like, and I was moving towards something. I ended up becoming addicted to wanting to better myself and
Yeah.
doing more, right? Like, kind of sounds like what you went through. And that's where I started to build on that power thing. Like, I can achieve. So, what's yours?
I don't know what mine would be. Um, I started a couple of years back. I think mostly like if I believe in myself, I've taken myself like on a little self date. I started going through a period of just taking myself out for a long time. I mean, maybe that's because I was single and like depressed about that as well. But I just started going places with myself, and I had a really bad problem with like, well, I still kind of do, anxiety in in being in public, like with people, a lot of people. I get really bad anxiety. So like going to sit in a restaurant on my own made me feel really good because I was just sitting and not taking my phone, not taking a book, just sitting there enjoying a meal on my own made me feel quite powerful. Made me feel good about myself and stronger. And I think less, I'm getting better at with the anxiety, so that obviously helps.
Yeah. So, you're doing things, though,
Yeah.
to help you through the anxiety.
Yeah.
So, what would that be?
Um, reading a lot more about it, learning a lot about myself. Um, I'm not sure really. Putting myself into situations that I probably regret after I've done it, that I'm scared when I'm scared. Like if I'm in a big group of people, I can get like really high anxiety and nervous about things. So I do it all the time because also I'm such a bubbly person. I'm a very confident person, but I get very nervous as well. So it's a really weird balance in my personality. It's very confusing.
Yeah, well, you can be confident and have
Yeah.
nervous.
So like if I keep
there's no black and white.
Yeah.
This is just human nature.
Yeah. So if I just keep doing all the things that make me uncomfortable, it's gonna make me eventually feel better about myself, and then I'll have the power, I guess.
You know what that sounds like?
Yeah.
Something that you said previously, that when you were working with your dad and you took those 3 years to
Yeah.
learn the skill of tiling and flooring, right?
Yeah.
That you had to make the mistakes and you just kept trying and going over and over. Does
Yeah.
that sound
Yeah.
similar?
Similar. Yeah.
Do you see the connection?
Yeah.
And so, what did you just say?
If you just keep doing things until you feel better, I guess.
Yeah, like, so you did that with your anxiety,
Yeah.
right? Because I'm sure even when you were doing the flooring, oh my God, I still don't know how you were so brave to rip up the floor in your mom's house. My mother would have killed me. And she would have been like, I don't care if it looks good. you know, um, but you see what I'm saying? Like, it's the same skill,
Yeah.
right? It's the same skill. So you had the determination, you got the organization, you had the mentorship, but you also developed a skill. This is the fourth one. This is skill over repetition.
Oh yeah.
Because you kept challenging yourself, even when it was scary, even when you failed sometimes, right? Like,
yeah, definitely.
you ever been out? I mean, public speaking was a fearful thing for me too. This might be a British thing too. And just being out alone and like eating. I used to have that too. And sometimes somebody would come up and be like, "Are you alone?" Like, and then you're like, "Damn, you know what I mean?"
Yeah, yeah.
You're like, "I shouldn't have come out," but then it didn't stop you from doing it again.
Yeah.
Right.
No, I done it again, and I started to enjoy it.
And then you started to enjoy it.
Yeah.
So how long do you think it took you to learn that? Hey, I don't think this is a bad thing.
Not long for doing that, really, but being able to be comfortable on my own out doing things that because usually you'd have like a partner or a friend, and I didn't have many friends in London at that time because all my friends are in Liverpool. I was single, so I didn't have, and I was like, I'm sat at home not doing everything that everyone else is doing because I don't want to go do it alone. So because I used to go to the cinema, and I love the cinema, I love movies. So I used to start with that because that was easier. You sat in the dark, no one could see you. And then started taking myself for dinner after the film. And then if I just kept doing it, maybe felt comfortable after like 6 months, 7 months of doing it.
Yeah, and
a weekly date night for
and
myself.
what do you think that does for your confidence and your power?
It definitely heightens it and makes you feel a lot more confident if you, because the problem, the big thing for me about going for meals on my own, every time it would happen, mostly like me and my sister would go out for dinner, and I'd never go up to the maitre d' or whatever you call them and ask for a table. I'd always say to my sister, you go ask for a table, see if they're busy or whatever. And I'd never do it on my own. So I don't know why, but I always would just make my sister do it. So when I was obviously going out alone, I couldn't make my sister do it because I was on my own. So it made me feel a lot more confident to now. If I'm in a restaurant, I know what wine to pick. I'm confident to
Ooh.
choose. I will I will go up and speak to someone like that if I need to ask a question about anything.
Mm-hmm.
I'm confident and walking around in situations that used to give me a lot of anxiety.
Yeah, and again, for people that are struggling, that like
Mm-hmm.
also like in your age group, and or just in general, right? Because there's so many people that have experienced exactly what you
Mm-hmm.
expressed, and like they can't get over the anxiety, and they like kind of
Yeah.
just rather just hide away. What
Yeah.
do you think that does to their overall well-being and mental health, though?
I
Like,
mean, it definitely isolates you from, because then if you don't do things, like if I hadn't have done things on my own, it will eventually isolate you to not want to do things with other people as well. If you get so used to like your little cave at home, because I did for a little bit. Um, so if you don't do anything about it, it's just going to get worse. So you have to push yourself and back yourself that what's going to happen if you go out and do something? What's the worst thing that's going to actually
what's gonna
happen?
happen?
Nothing's going to be that bad.
True, true. I know
Hopefully.
that, yeah, I mean, I know that like anxiety sometimes when people go through like panic, they
Yeah.
like it feels like death. Like
Yeah.
they feel like they're gonna die. And there's some people with really extreme agoraphobia or
Mm-hmm.
really extreme anxiety that turns into
Yeah.
panic and things like that. And so that's a
Oh, well, yeah,
totally
that's
different thing.
different. Yeah.
That's a different thing. But like if people are out there like who are just struggling with everyday anxiety, or even when
Mm-hmm.
COVID happened, like things people
Yeah.
like retreated back. And it doesn't have to be just like feeling like you have to be stuck in your house. Isolation could look differently
Yeah,
for
for
other
different
people,
people. Yeah.
right? Like, um, also just keeping yourself stuck and not moving yourself forward
Yeah.
in your life, like
Yeah.
career path, life choices, taking a chance, taking risks.
Mm-hmm.
Where can they best learn how to do that?
Well, your company is a really good
Oh, with
start.
my company? No, I'm joking. Well, I meant to say therapy. Thank you for the
Yeah,
plug, but
that
it was,
is
but,
the
but
therapy. Yeah,
with the therapy,
asking
right?
for help for coaches, that a lot of, as well, a lot, if you don't know the person, I think is easier to ask for help.
Really?
In my, yeah,
Why?
because I'd get nervous asking for people in, like, not now, but back in the day, maybe when I was a couple of years ago, asking for help, people I know knowing I'm weak. I can tell a therapist, on like, my old therapist was from BetterHelp. So she was in America, or was just FaceTime. I can tell her whatever, because what was she going to do? Go tell everyone I know? No, because she didn't know anyone. So not knowing, so telling someone that you have no tie to in your life, I think can also be very helpful. For me, anyway, it was.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. I think that you have to just push because what's the
Yeah.
worst that's gonna happen? Like,
Yeah.
you either gonna move forward with the help or you're just
Yeah.
gonna stay the same, and there's no harm or foul,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's just that you're making the choice not to
Yeah.
move forward, and
Yeah.
I know it's easier said
Oh, it's definitely
than
easier said.
it's easier said than done. But I kind of want to challenge people and say it actually might be easier to try to make it get done
Yeah.
than just to talk about it,
Mm-hmm.
because you just talk about it and over, and then it's 6 years later and you're like still the same place.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I feel like, especially for British people, we gotta change the mindset that
Yeah.
just get it done. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because you don't want to waste your life. Like, look at this fantastic person over here at 28, got her own company, like was doing this, traveled the world, this and like, there's a lot of people that wish they could do that. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And I think that if they can get over the emotional fear by learning about that
Yeah.
and figuring out where it came from the
Mm-hmm.
core, like, because there's reasons why you react or feel the
Mm-hmm.
certain way, right? Like, I would say that what I've noticed in our conversation is that your gene or your mechanism to take risks really comes from a foundation that you have with your family.
Yeah.
Like to push you to
Mm-hmm.
try to take those risks, but also to be cautious
Yeah.
and learn when you need to ask for help,
Mm-hmm.
right? I think that's what I like talking about with both you and your dad is that he's also not above it. Like he's
Mm-hmm.
like, yeah, when you got to ask for help, you got to ask for help,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know? And he was so brave to be able to come on the show and be like, talk about the dirty M word, which is mental health.
Yeah, yeah.
And you all are so open about
Yeah,
talking
very
about it.
open.
But why? Like, how did this happen? Like, how did you
Um,
do it?
I think well, in our family anyway, we're very open about it because my sister was the first one of us to go to therapy. She was very, like, I'm going. None of us have ever been that I knew of. And she just started being very open about what she was going through in her brain and stuff like that. And then I think I went next because I was struggling with a lot, and like when I went, I was going through a really hard time, and I started telling people in my life about it. I told my sister, I told my mum, and I was like, I think I should go to therapy about it because I need some help. And telling you guys is great and all, and I've got the support, but I need to talk about it with someone as well who isn't just going to defend me in a situation and say I'm always right or whatever, because I need to know it from someone else to know that what I feel is correct. And I got them answers from therapy. So then we've always just been an open family and talked about it. And I said to my dad once, you've got 3 daughters in therapy, like, we're an open family, let's talk about it
Oh,
if there's
man.
stuff going on.
Yeah. I think that one thing that your dad had said to me um, when we first met is like, there's a lot of people talking about it, talking about therapy,
Yeah.
wanting to go, but nothing really happens unless you're actually doing it.
Yeah, yeah,
You're really not moving forward if you're not
yeah. Mm-hmm.
trying. And again, easier said than done, but like, what is the holdup? Like, literally, life goes by like this.
Yeah.
Like, COVID, I can't believe the years that we just lost.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, I'm still pissed. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Um, and that's what I'm saying. There's no time like the present to try to
Mm-hmm.
take the chance
Yeah.
and get in the right path. And some people will find out how quickly they could start feeling better.
Yeah.
Maybe you're not like building the Empire State Building in the first 3 to 6 months, but
Yeah.
the 3 to 6 months, at least I trust. I can't guarantee that for everybody, but I can say that it can make a difference in your
Yeah.
life when you're there being vulnerable with somebody that you don't know. I think
Yeah.
that's a great point that can like just take you as raw
Mm-hmm.
and direct you to the right way to feel about yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're coming to a close now, and it was so great talking to you. Like,
Thank you. I've had a nice time.
You did?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just feel like you're great. Like, again, like the
you.
chemistry and talking, like, we definitely want to have you continue to on the podcast. We have some other great opportunities with other people your
cool.
age that are talking about just like growing up in England, growing
Yeah.
up in London, or emerging adulthood in London,
Mm-hmm.
and just kind of like gauging how we beat the stigma around asking for help, talking to each other,
Yeah.
talking to peers, talking to therapists, talking to coaches, and like just moving the society forward,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Yeah.
Because I think there are people like you that have dreams like
Yeah.
you, like, wanting to open a bar. Like, you told me that there's fading lesbian bars here.
Yeah.
Like, there's so many people that want to start something but don't know where.
Yeah.
Right. So the question, I guess, is just if you had the support either somewhere in your journey or even now, would you have accessed it? Would you access it um, to get yourself moving forward in the larger dreams that you
Yeah.
have? Because I want to just also reiterate and just to re-highlight that power that you have,
Mm-hmm.
that you do have a lot of the tools, a lot, Enya. You do have a lot of the tools to like move your life forward, but it sounds like it's just what blocks is the fear.
Yeah.
Right. And so I think we are agreeing on that.
Yeah, yeah,
Because you
definitely.
have the confidences. It's just knowing where to place the confidence on this journey.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying is that if you had that support to get you through this stage of your lifespan,
Yeah.
or even before when you were younger and you were also you had
Yeah.
the support, but you were afraid to like talk about
Yeah.
who you were, and then it was all right, you know.
Yeah.
But what would have been like? What would it be like to have that support then and now?
I think it's a lot easier for me to know that to ask for things now because I've grown up now. My sister, I'll always say she was a really great support for me because I'd always ask her for help because it felt easier to ask her because well, I mean, she's still one of my best friends, but me and her, we grew up around the same age. She's only 3 years older. So it was really easy to ask for support and it not be a big deal. Like, you wouldn't go to your parents and ask when you were younger because, like, I don't know. I guess there was a thing against it, or in my mind anyway.
Wow, that's still.
So asking my sister, it was easier. So if there was like more support back then, and you had more confidence back then to do it, like now, if I need help to do something, I'll ask. Like I know someone who owns a hostel in Colombia, a very successful one. So I know a few people. They're my friends. So if I ever do want to, if I ever am able to open that beach bar in Colombia, then I'd ask them for help because obviously they've already done it. He's from England, so well, they're both from England, so they know how to move over there to build a business there. And I don't know anyone here that's opened a lesbian bar, obviously, but I would go out and find them because I know now that if you ask someone, they're going to want to talk. Like, people love to talk, people love to help people and pass on their wisdom. Like, that's one thing you'll find about people as soon as you ask them, because they now know that you respect them and you're coming to them for advice. That's a really big compliment for someone. So they're always going to be willing, well, hopefully always going to be willing to help you. So I definitely just start asking people things.
And for those that don't have all these resources that you have,
Research a lot. We've got, like you said, we've got ChatGPT. Research where you can go ask them people, where you can find people to ask. Because you might not know anyone personally, but there's definitely someone out there. So if you research who can help you do something in certain situations, you'll end up finding someone. You can contact them, see what happens. You can contact them on the other end of a screen. You don't even have to do it in person. If there's the fear blocking you.
yeah, I think that's a big point. Is that some people kind of are concerned about not having it in person. Like,
Yeah.
I've had this debate with some family members. Like, therapy is better in or coaching's better in person, but if what's accessible is remote,
Yeah.
and you can get quality support that's going to get you like, what do you say about that?
I think if you can get it remotely, I think that would help a lot of people because a lot of people don't want to go out and do it because it's a lot scarier. Like my first therapist was online because I would never have gone and sat with someone in person and spoke about stuff. It was too scary. You know, if you're on a call with, well, I knew when I was on a call with a therapist, I could just hang up if I wanted to. My first session, I remember, lasted 20 minutes because I was like, okay, I'm done, bye. And I could just escape it. And then the second one was easier. So if you are a bit too nervous to go out there and do it, we live in the 21st century. Like, everything's online. You can access good and valuable things from the comfort of your own home if that's where you're at in life right now. And then hopefully you'll gain more confidence to go next time, go do it in person. My view anyway.
No, I think it's a lot of people's view, and because I think people are struggling with the getting over the hurdle of like what it could look like,
Yeah.
you know. And what I think is really different with us is that we have people that are aligned with people's identity, you know what I mean, and or have trained well in understanding how to deal with someone's intersectionality, which we talked about in the last meeting. Um, and just coming from a good place, you know, like um, coming from a good place because they're also coming from a good place. They're also taking care of their wellness. They're not trying to cut a session short. I know you did that on your end, but that's fine. But they're not trying to cut a session short, or they're saying that they're trying to build a relationship with you because they care about what's happening for you. I think that people are shopping around for therapists,
Yeah.
but you know, I think what it really boils down to is how do you relate to that person? How well can you feel vulnerable with them and safe?
Yeah.
Right. Um, I think that's what mattered to me when I first found my therapist or my mentor. So, yeah, I don't know if you have any thoughts.
Well,
that and like
after my first one now, like, because I ended that therapy a couple of years ago, I'm now wanting to go back to therapy. And now, because already did that and I've got older now, I'd maybe go to an in-person therapist. I'm not too scared to do that now. So if you, I'm in the research in the market for it, but if you're too scared, you'll do something once and you'll do it from the comfort of your own home. And then you will feel better to go do it out in the world, which I now has changed because I would go and sit someone and feel vulnerable with someone to talk about so much. I'm doing it now. Spoke about loads of stuff now that I never would have done back in the day in person with you. So,
wow, that's amazing.
yeah.
Yeah. And I think I like that. I think that you're correct that online or remote therapy is for a particular person.
Yeah.
And some people need to do it in person, which is fine. But based on convenience, based
Yeah.
off of accessibility, because there's a shortage here.
Yeah,
right?
definitely.
So that's a problem. And then having somebody that really cares. I think those are things that I pride myself on about trust and what we're doing, but also when I hear that people are getting good quality experience here,
Yeah.
I love that because I've heard so much of the opposite here.
Yeah.
Like talking to people that are saying that they were on the wait list for 6 years. Like
Oh, yeah. I know so many people who have
I can't,
waited so
like
long.
how? Like I don't know how not how, but like how do people cope through this? I just had a doctor on a pediatrician on our show, and he says that there's some children waiting 8 years.
I know
Can you imagine 8 years and like
you're in a
going through what
completely
you were
different
going
stage
through?
in your life as well after 8 years.
8 years, you're like
And
a
people
adult.
can't afford the private one. Like, I went privately because my friend was in therapy at the time and she went through the NHS, which is great that we have counselling through
Definitely.
the NHS. However, the
Right.
wait list for it is insane.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like, not not for nothing, but
Yours is definitely
how
more
do we do?
affordable.
Yeah, like tell me, like how can if you were that young Enya and you had a different life circumstance and your parents were like scrambling to find you help and they're like the wait list is 8 years
Yeah.
and then therapy was like 100 pounds or
Yeah.
150 pounds, like would that even have been possible?
Probably not, really, realistically. They would have, if I really needed it, they would have fought and made it happen.
Yes, like
Because
most
they're good,
parents
great,
would.
they're great people. However, it would have been a struggle to add that into, like, you have therapy like what 4 times a month, if or more if you need it. That's a lot of money to spend on therapy. And if
True.
you can't be in a situation where you can afford anything like that, then that's why better afford, like your company Trust is so good because it's more affordable. And if you don't want to wait in a waiting list for 8 years,
Jesus.
it's a lot more feasible and a lot more accessible, which is really good.
Yeah, I mean that's what I'm hoping. Well, I know I'm having faith
Yeah.
because I want to see that change. Like I
Yeah.
want to see people have consistency because you cannot get better by having therapy like once a month
Yeah.
or I don't know the 6 sessions. That's like literally could actually do worse
Yeah.
damage. To be honest, like you opened up a can of worms.
And now you've got to put it back together
How
on
are you
your
gonna
own for
do
a
that?
month.
And then they're like, "Oh, come back in 3 more years." Like, and what's really scary is also knowing that there's children and
Yeah.
adolescents that have gone through stuff that you went through or what I went through with
Yeah.
my disability and are like, I'm giving up. Like, with this couple with the stigma
Yeah.
and like the cultural dynamics around being hush hush about your concerns, and then not having an outlet, because your parents are also maybe struggling with understanding what to do for you,
Yeah,
right? And
exactly, yeah.
scared. They're scared. Sometimes when parents are acting wild and out, like it's because they're acting out of fear.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's their first time around the world as well.
True.
So
You're too
you've got to
wise for
remember
words,
that.
girl. You're too wise. But it's true. It's their first time around the world and they may need therapy themselves.
Yeah.
So, to be able to get support at a more reasonable rate so you can be consistent
Yeah.
so we can make it healthy again for people. Yeah, I think it's a smart idea.
Yeah, I think it's very cool what you're doing.
Good. Well, thank you so much
Thank you for
for
having me.
joining. Yeah, I hope to see you again. So
Definitely.
we did a little roundtable in Brixton
Yeah.
with millennials and Gen Zs, and we were just all talking about, growing up in England, growing up, particularly they were from South London, but there's people that grew up all over.
Yeah.
Just having these conversations to try to normalize the dirty M word
Yeah.
into, I would love to invite you in October
Yeah,
if you'd like
definitely.
to
Yeah.
come. And we're probably going to do a little series there and just have all of us break by. We're going to eat food and talk about just different topics. So, yeah, I would love to have you there.
Yeah, that would be great.
And yeah, thank you so
Thank you for
much.
having me.
I want to give you a hug, but this thing is in the way. This huge thing. Anyway, take care, everybody. Thank you for joining us. We really, really appreciate you tuning in, and please join us again for the next episode, where we'll be having more incredible guests, both in the UK and in the US. You can meet some of my clinicians. You can also talk to some of the other, prominent people that are making changes in mental health and mental health access. So tune in, and maybe you'll learn something. Maybe you'll gain some bravery also to come and join us in therapy and make changes in your life or your family's life or your children's life, as we were talking about that today, that it's really is worth it. So thank you so much for joining us. If you are interested in learning more about Trust Therapeutics Ltd in the UK or in the United States, you can just look up Trust Therapeutics, and we should pop up. If you're in the UK, visit www.trusttherapeutics.co.uk. And then if you're in the US, it's trusttherapeutics.llc. Trusttherapeutics.com. So please like and share for more. And yeah, see you soon. Ciao, ciao for now.